Mariupol, Ukraine, March 2022. The explosion was so close Victor felt the heat through the basement walls. His wife, Oksana, grabbed their son, Dmitry, pulled him closer. The boy was 9 years old, too young to understand why the world was ending, old enough to be terrified. They'd been in this basement for 43 days. 43 days since the Russian invasion, 43 days since the siege began, 43 days of artillery fire, airstrikes, hunger, darkness, and the slow realization that help might never come. Victor was 43 years old, structural engineer. He'd helped design buildings in Mariupol, Kiev, Odessa, strong buildings, safe buildings, buildings that could withstand storms, earthquakes, time itself. But not Russian artillery. Above them, their apartment building, the one Victor had lived in for 15 years, was rubble. Their neighborhood was rubble. Their city was rubble. And they were trapped. "Papa," Dmitry whispered, "when can we leave?" Victor kissed his son's head. "Soon, Sinku, soon." But he didn't believe it. Neither did Oksana. He could see it in her eyes, the hope draining away, replaced by acceptance. This was how they would die, in a basement, in the dark, waiting. Another explosion, closer. The walls shook, dust fell like snow. Oksana's hand found Victor's, squeezed. "Ya tebe kokayu," she whispered. "I love you. I love you too." Dmitry looked up at both of them. "Are we going to die?" Victor opened his mouth, closed it. What could he say? Don't lie. The boy deserved truth. "I don't know, Sinku, but we're together. That's what matters." Days blurred. Food ran out. Water ran out. They drank from pipes, ate whatever they could find. 17 other people in the basement, neighbors, strangers, all the same now. Some stopped moving, stayed in corners, bodies growing cold. On day 67, the building above collapsed completely, sealed one exit. Only one way out now. Oksana was getting weaker, coughing, blood sometimes. "We have to leave," Victor told her. "We have to try." "I can't, I'm too weak. Take Dmitry, go." "No, we go together or not at all." They argued. She cried. He cried. Dmitry watched, silent. On day 72, the Ukrainian forces announced an evacuation corridor. Civilians could leave. Humanitarian route, buses waiting. "This is our chance," Victor said. "We run, now." They gathered what little they had. Victor carried Dmitry, helped Oksana walk, up the basement stairs, through the rubble, into daylight. Mariupol was gone, just gone. Apocalypse, wasteland, hell made real. They ran toward the evacuation point. 2 blocks, that's all, just 2 blocks. The artillery strike came from nowhere. One moment Victor was running, the next the world was fire and noise and pain. When he woke, he was in a hospital tent. Ukrainian volunteers, medics. "Your son is alive," someone told him. "Minor injuries, he'll be okay." Relief crashed through him. "My wife?" Silence. "My wife? Oksana? Where is she?" More silence. And Victor understood. Staten Island, New York, 2024. Present. When Victor noticed his hands shaking, he couldn't hear the Amazon warehouse noise. He could only hear Mariupol, the explosions, the sirens. Oksana's last breath. "Victor! Victor!" The voice brought him back. Now, here. Amazon Fulfillment Center, JFK 8, Staten Island. Chad Morrison, floor manager, clipboard in hand, angry. "You're at 47 units this hour. Standard is 65. That's 3rd warning this week. 1 more, and you're out. You understand?" Victor nodded. "Yes, I understand. I don't want excuses. I want results. Work faster or find another job." Victor turned back to his package, tried to steady his hands, but the tremor wouldn't stop. Because hands remembered Mariupol. 3 hours later, break room. Marcus Johnson, former Army medic, now warehouse worker, sat down next to Victor. "Brother," he said quietly, "that's not tired. That's PTSD." Victor's eyes widened. "How you—" "I was in Iraq. 2 tours. I know the symptoms. The tremor, the hypervigilance. The way you flinch when someone drops something loud. How long you been dealing with it? Victor's throat tightened. Since Mariupol, 2022. Marcus's expression changed. Mariupol. Jesus, the siege? Victor nodded. How long were you there? 3 months, in basement, with my wife, my son, waiting for it to end. And did it? End? Victor's hands shook harder. For some, not for everyone. Marcus understood, didn't push, just sat there, his presence alone saying, I see you, I know, break ended. They went back to work. But at the end of the shift, when Victor was clocking out, Chad appeared again. Victor, my office, now. Victor followed, heart sinking. In the small manager's office, Chad sat behind his desk, arms crossed. I'm letting you go, effective immediately. You're too slow, can't meet standards. Here's your final paycheck. But I try. Every day I try. Not good enough. This is Amazon. We have metrics, expectations. You don't meet them, you're replaced. That's how it works. Victor took the check with shaking hands. Couldn't even argue. What would he say? I can't work faster because I watched my city destroyed and my family die in Mariupol? He turned to leave, but Marcus was standing in the doorway. He'd heard everything. Chad, Marcus said, voice hard. You know why his hands shake? Don't care, not my problem. It's PTSD from Mariupol, the siege, 2022. You know what happened there? Some war in Ukraine. So what? Marcus stepped into the office. Some war, 3 months of siege, Russian artillery bombing civilians, Azovstal steel plant, thousands dead. And this man, he pointed at Victor, survived it. Watched his wife and son, watched his wife die, then escaped. Came here, started over, and you're firing him because his hands shake? Chad shifted uncomfortably. Look, I don't make the rules. Amazon has standards. Fuck your standards. Marcus pulled out his phone. I'm recording this, and I'm posting it. Amazon manager fires Mariupol survivor with PTSD because he can't pack boxes fast enough? Let's see how that plays on social media. Chad's face went pale. You can't. Watch me. And that's when everything changed. 2 hours later, TikTok video. Title: Amazon just fired a Ukrainian war survivor for having PTSD. Views: $847,000 and climbing comments 12,400. The video was shaky, filmed on a phone, but the audio was crystal clear. Marcus's voice: You're firing him because his hands shake? Chad's voice defensive. Amazon has standards. Marcus: He survived Mariupol, 3 months in a basement, watched his family die, and you care about packages per hour? The video cut to Victor, standing silent, tears on his face, holding a paycheck in trembling hands. Then Marcus, looking directly into camera. This is what happens when corporations value metrics over humanity. Share this. Make it viral. Amazon needs to answer for this. The comments section exploded. Sarah Kim, no IC. I'm never ordering from Amazon again. This is disgusting. Veteran advocate. PTSD is real. This man is a hero. Amazon should be ashamed. Ukraine supporter. Mariupol survivor deserves respect, not termination. Boycott Amazon. Tech worker Anon. This is why I quit Amazon. They treat people like robots. Within 2 hours, 2.3 million views. Within 4 hours, CNN picked it up. Within 6 hours, Amazon's PR team was in crisis mode. Next morning, Amazon corporate headquarters, Seattle. Sarah Chen, VP of Public Relations, walked into an emergency meeting looking like she hadn't slept, because she hadn't. Someone explain, she said, voice tight, why we're trending #1 on Twitter and why half our customer base is threatening to boycott. Her assistant pulled up the video. Sarah watched. Her expression went from confused to horrified. Jesus Christ, is this real? Yes. JFK 8 facility, Staten Island. Manager terminated an employee, a Ukrainian refugee with PTSD from the Mariupol siege, Sarah interrupted. I know, I've been reading comments for 3 hours. She looked around the table. Where's the facility manager? Chad Morrison, He's on the phone. Put him through, now. Chad's voice came through speaker, nervous. Hello, Ms. Chen? Mr. Morrison, did you fire Viktor Volkov yesterday? Well, yes, but he wasn't meeting productivity. Did you know he was a Mariupol survivor? Pause. I heard something about Ukraine, but did you know he has PTSD? Longer pause. Another employee mentioned it, but that's not really your concern? Mr. Morrison, do you understand that video of you firing a war survivor has 15 million views? That senators are tweeting about it? That our stock dropped 3 points this morning? Silence. You're terminated. Effective immediately. Legal will contact you. Sarah hung up, looked at her team. Find Viktor Volkov. Rehire him. Full benefits. Raise. Public apology. And get me in touch with Ukrainian community leaders. We're setting up a PTSD support program. Now. 3 days later, Viktor's apartment. Viktor sat in the living room, Dmitry beside him, watching the news. CNN anchor. And Amazon today issued a formal apology to Viktor Volkov, a Mariupol siege survivor with PTSD who was wrongfully terminated from a New Jersey facility last week. Mr. Volkov has been rehired with a significant raise and full benefits. Amazon also announced a $50 million program for PTSD awareness and mental health support across all U.S. facilities. The screen cut to Viktor, an interview recorded earlier. Reporter: Mr. Volkov, how do you feel about Amazon's response? Viktor, in Ukrainian accent, carefully. I am grateful, but more important, maybe now others understand. PTSD is real, war trauma is real, and we all just trying to survive. Reporter: Can you talk about Mariupol, what you experienced? Viktor paused, looked at Dmitry, sitting there, watching. Viktor: 3 months in basement. My wife Oksana, my son Dmitry, and 17 neighbors. No food, no water, no electricity, just bombs. Every day, every night. And finally, escape. But even escape has cost. Reporter, gently: You lost your wife. Viktor: Yes. During evacuation, artillery strike. She died instantly, didn't suffer. His voice broke. But Dmitry survived, and that is what matters. He is alive. I am alive. And we are here, in America, safe. Reporter: Your experience at Amazon, do you think it will create change? Viktor: I hope. Maybe now companies understand people are not robots. We all have stories, traumas, and if you give us chance, we still can contribute, still can work, still can live. The interview ended. Cut back to studio. Viktor turned off the TV, looked at Dmitry. Papa, Dmitry said quietly, you know Mama was watching, right? Viktor pulled his son close. Yes, and she is proud, of both of us. I'm proud of you, Papa. You're the strongest person. No, Sinku, I am just survivor. But maybe that is enough. 6 months later, Amazon launched its PTSD program. Viktor became a consultant. He visited warehouses, talked to employees, shared his story. One day, at a California facility, a young woman approached him. Mr. Volkov, she said, I'm also a refugee from Syria, 2015. I also lost my family, and I also have PTSD, but my manager doesn't understand, wants to fire me. Viktor held her hand. Give me your name. I will speak. Amazon has changed now, not just because of my story, but for change. You will be protected. The woman started crying. Thank you, thank you. 1 year later, Mariupol Remembrance Day, a memorial event in New York, Ukrainian flag, photos of Mariupol, survivors sharing stories. Viktor was on stage, Dmitry beside him translating. My name is Viktor Volkov, he said in Ukrainian as Dmitry translated to English. I am from Mariupol, engineer, husband, father, and survivor. The crowd applauded. But surviving is not enough, he continued. We must live. We must tell. We must remind world. Mariupol was real. Siege was real. People died, families destroyed, and those of us here, we must be voice. More applause. 1 year ago, I was fired from Amazon, My hand shook, PTSD, but one man, Marcus Johnson, American veteran, spoke for me, and world listened. Change came. Victor paused, tears in his eyes. Oksana, my wife, I lost her in Mariupol, but her legacy lives in our son, in our story, and I hope in change we create in world. The crowd stood, applauded, cried. Dmitri hugged his father. Mama would be proud, Papa. I know, Sinku, I know. Viktor Volkov's story reminds us, trauma doesn't define us, but how we respond does. And sometimes, in the darkest moments, one voice rises, one change begins, and the world listens. Like, subscribe, and share, because every survivor's story matters. Do you know someone living with PTSD or trauma? How do you support them? Share below. Remember, surviving takes courage, but living takes even more.